Have you ever just had a really bad cramp in your sides or your stomach area when you're running? Yeah, that happened to me. I'm very out of shape because COVID and all this bunch of bullshit, right? So if you don't have water, drink it with me. Cheers, everyone. Good ass water. Good ass water. But anyway, guys, welcome back to part 12. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a banger. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It's gonna be a banger. It's gonna be a long one. I'm just gonna tell you that right now, off the rip, right? It's just because I kind of lied to y'all, and then I kept pushing back part 12 because I was feeling like it and all this emotion stuff, life, and just some bullshit, right? Just about myself, right? So, if you haven't already, click the like button already and share this video too. So I'm gonna wait. You haven't already? You haven't hit the like button? Get out of town, boy. But anyway, so let's start part 12. And I hope you all enjoy this. So, recap of part 11. I told y'all how I was with her in public and private, how we met, I mean not met, but how we were together, my mental state, and we were arguing, right? So when I was with her private, public, and together, this was before she broke up with me, all this stuff, like I told you, all the screenshots. Publicly, it was just typical boyfriend stuff, like we joke around, I did everything I could best. I comfort her, I did all this stuff, I cuddle her, I gave her emotions back, I gave her affection back, I gave her kisses, I gave her all this stuff, make her feel happy, try to feel happy, right? And that's key too, because she didn't tell me that something serious of her part was, she didn't tell me nothing, and that's how she became unhappy. Like in communication, guys. How we were together, we were just, just couple. Just regular couple, you can say. Nothing special. I mean, yeah, people say, oh, relationship goals because 13 months and all that stuff, right? And then we start arguing, and this was after she broke up with me, right? Of arguing, and then my mental state, I did a lot of stuff I should have not done, in which that made it way, way, way worse. Like, I'm telling you right now, like, that's literally my lowest point of my life. Just last year, summer, right? Lowest point, right? So, on to my second point. We mainly talk on Twitter. The reason why is because I told you before she got grounded. Well, grounded, I don't know if it's true or not. But yeah, she got grounded. All the screenshots you saw was Snapchat. And so when she got grounded, we started using Twitter, because I told you way before, when she did all this stuff, she didn't block me on Twitter. That's the only thing she didn't block me, right? Everything else was like blocked, right? My hair is fucking long. Oh my god. But anyway, we just started to text on there, and I basically explained why, like, she did this, why you didn't tell me this, please, come back, I'll be good, just typical breakup stuff, right? If you ever been in a relationship and you have a broken heart and all that stuff, you would know, right? All the screenshots would tell also. And also too, there's a lot of screenshots in this video too. It's 14 total. So it's gonna be back to back to back. So it's not gonna be a lot of pauses. So yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I'm gonna show you a first screenshot of her like arguing with, this is what before she got grounded, so here you go. That's my bad. It won't happen again. So the toilet conversations, right? Basically, all the screenshots will tell you how she was and how rude she was and how she was a completely different person than what you saw last video. I think it was last video when we were together and I showed you all the affection and all the flirty stuff, right? So yeah, this is really going to change how you see her, right? So she started playing with my emotions, started playing with me. And then she lied about all this stuff, right? And I'll get to that in a minute, right? Well, in the next part, definitely in the next part. The reason why she lied to me, right? So I'm just trying to figure out, right? Like, on Twitter, DMing her, telling her, please come back. Why are you doing this to me? I'm very hurt. You didn't tell me shit. And basically, just all that shit. So, what you're going to see is 10 screenshots total right now. So, it's going to be right here. So, let's break it down. The second screenshot you saw, what total screenshot you saw, is basically me trying to say, hey, you're in the wrong and all this stuff. Why you being on? Why you say you're being annoying and all that stuff? Why you being annoyed of me? And because she's bipolar, right? And then the third, I just said I made an agreement. And most all these screenshots you saw is basically me talking about this agreement we had. So basically, what it was is I told her, since we're not getting anything together, right? We're not progressing in this coming back together, right? Because she said it too. You literally saw it right there. You literally saw in this fucking video, right? Of her saying she agrees to not do all this stuff. Well, let me back up, right? I basically said, hey, if you want to make this happen, all this stuff, you need to calm down. You need not be suicidal. She was really suicidal. I told y'all in like the first week. She said, oh, I broke my heart and all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. I'm numb of you and all this shit, right? Then I told her, then let's do this. Since you're numb against me, since you know I'm annoying for you, apparently I'm annoying, you know what I mean? You know that's all cap. We see the cap, cat. We see it. You're not smart, okay? And so I basically say, hey, let's do this. Let's have a agreement. For 2 weeks, we're not going to talk to each other. We're not going to mention each other. We're still going to have each other on social media. No blocking, no flirting with other guys. This is really the time for you to get better. Physically, mentally, spiritually, and all that shit, right? Basically, because she was at a low point too, and I was at a very low point, right? I was doing drugs, I was doing a bunch of shit that I wasn't even supposed to be doing, and all this type of shit, right? So that was the 2 weeks, and the agreement was, here's the rules. No flirting with guys or girls. Well, I can't flirt with girls because we're actually trying to bond and trying to be close again and trying to work this out. She even agreed on this. And so that's one of the parts. Not hanging with like people. Well, you can hang with people, but like the people can't convince you of your feelings, you know what I mean? You know, you have like that one toxic person, or like that one person that like doesn't like the other person, and so they try to do this sneaky stuff and manipulate it and all that stuff, saying, hey, I heard this person did this and this, and you should not do this, you should stay away as far as possible and don't get back with him, all that stuff, you know what I mean? And vice versa with me, with the girl and one of my guy friends, right? No convincing is really like from the bottom of the heart, right? And so, yeah, that was it. and you saw all the screenshots, and so I it basically explains all this. So I'm not going to redo what I just said in those text messages, right? And also, I will leave all the what we call them, the timestamp of the date she said this, all this, right? Because I don't know if Twitter has this thing where it shows the date or not, but yeah, I'll show you. So you saw all that, right? So that's agreement. So she agreed, I agree. We made our separate ways, and this is the third point: the break, the 2-week break. Now, I can tell you this right now, it's fucking hard. For me, it's hard. Because I still didn't know the answers. I didn't know anything. I still kind of knew little stuff. More stuff than I was before. Let's see. I was really, like, my anxiety was, like, so bad. Literally, it sucked. Like, it fucking sucked. My bad cursing, but it fucking sucked. Having panic attacks left and right every single day. I think I had it at least twice a day, right? Of course, I was in my room. I tried to, because I'm very stubborn, right? I want to do everything by myself. I'm just that way. I just grew up that way. Not really grew up that way. That's just myself. That's how I cope with things, right? Just being by myself, right? Which was very negative to my mental health, which yielded like panic attacks left and right, at least twice a day for these 2 weeks, and we'll continue on, right? This is way before I got prescribed my anti-anxiety pills that I did abuse. But yeah, I was just handling by myself. I wasn't doing anything. What made it kind of worse is my drug use, because I was going withdrawals and everything like that. I'll explain all my drugs, what I did later on. And so I was overthinking about a lot of stuff. I told y'all guys, one of my really bad weaknesses of my flaws is I overthink a lot. Meaning, I don't know if she's talking to someone. I didn't know if she was cheating the agreement. I didn't know she broke the agreement of what we said of not talking to no guys, no flirting and all that stuff. Spoiler alert, yeah, she did do that. And I literally said that, I think part 9, part 10, something like that. If you remember, it starts with a D. I'm not gonna get to it yet, but it's coming. Next part, definitely next part. I was just overthinking about everything, what she was doing. It was really hard not to did the stuff that I was doing before, like seeing if she was okay. It was really hard for me, right? Of course, I didn't do it, right? I tried completely hard, right? It's just not trying to think of her, not trying to talk to her, because we made agreement 2 weeks, and then once the 2 weeks came back, I mean, the 2 weeks is over, right? We was gonna meet for the first time since, I think, 3 weeks now, 3 or 4, no, 3 weeks. We haven't seen each other for 3 weeks, right? And so yeah, we were gonna meet in person. She was gonna come to my place, and then we were just gonna talk it out, basically. And if it didn't work, then I'll be fine with it. At least I have my closure. If not, I mean, if so, good. You know what I mean? But yeah, it didn't work. So fourth, we call point, my bad, is manipulation and people communicating with her and her actions. And convincing her too. So, during this time, I was going to my therapist named also Kat, which is very it's weird, right? My therapist's name is Kat. I still see her, right? I known her since 2 years now, about 2 years, since I was a junior. When I was about to go to the mental hospital, she was the one that sent me to it and say, "Hey, you should do this and that." And then I went to rehab after this after program, after school, and she was the main therapist there too, along with Lawrence. Man, I fucking miss that guy. But anyway, we almost had the same therapist because she did broke the well, she didn't broke it because we said to each other on the agreement that only important stuff, like if we were going to the mental hospital, if we're suicidal again, if we're doing drugs, which I can't, this is my fault. I didn't tell her the stuff I was doing, which is really fucking bad. And a lot of rappers and a lot of people die from this type of drug. So yeah. And so I was seeing my therapist every week. It was supposed to be like every a month. But then this happened, the breakup happened, and then I started to go frequently because my mental health and I just need guidance, right? And so she texted me out of nowhere, right? She said, "Hey, which therapist building do you go to?" I was like, "Oh, I go to Mind Above Matter, right?" And she said, "Oh, okay, because I saw this therapist named Kat too, and I think I remember you telling me basically she said like, oh, you told me that my therapist was Kat too, and then she was explaining me all this stuff." And then I literally told her, I was like, "Hey, that can't happen because literally that's the agreement of me and my therapist or any therapist, right? For example, if you have a boyfriend, girlfriend, or you're married, right? If the other significant other wants to go there, you can't have the same therapist. Let's say I was going to my therapist named Kat, right? Or my actual therapist named Kat, right? And then we're together, right? This is assuming that you're a girl, right? If you're a boy, just disregard this. Or just vice versa, you know what I mean? Let's say you want to start going to therapists, right? And you want to see my therapist. Well, you can't do that because it's in the therapist rules. I don't, it's law. It's a law too. It's a state law. I think federal law too. No, state, something like that. Because conflict and all that shit. So yeah, I basically told her that, and she would say, "Oh." She just got mad at me, and but anyway, that's off topic. Well, not really off topic because that's one of my points. I'm all over the place, right? I'm tired, right? And so she was like, "Yeah, then I have to she because my actual therapist made a fuck, like the first meeting. I forgot the it's called. It's like an overview or something like that. If you've been to a therapist or like the mental hospital or like rehab, you know what I mean. It's basically like a follow up, like, oh, why you're here, why you doing this, what's your procedure, why you want to get help, and all this stuff, right? And so she said that, and then next time when I saw my therapist Kat, not my ex, I told her this, and she's like, "Oh shit." I can't see her anymore, right? She just saw her one time, right? Actually, wait, I lied, my bad. I remember now. She went to a guy, I forgot his name, but her first therapist was a guy, right? I knew him, kind of knew him. I know his name, I forgot his name now, but I see him around, right? And he always comments about my hair because how good it looked and all that stuff, right? So, you know, I knew him, right? I was kind of chill with him until he said some shit about me to her, but I'll get to that very soon, right? And so she went to this guy first, right? And so the thing was, he was gonna transfer out like later. He was moving to another therapist clinic thing, right? And so he couldn't see her anymore. So he referred her to my therapist named Kat. Too, and then that's when she texted me and all that stuff, right? And so it was scheduled, right? It was scheduled and all that stuff. My ex was supposed to meet with my therapist, but I caught it on time. Thank God I caught it on time. If not, some of the stuff I couldn't share because, well, I could share it, but it's difficult, you know what I mean? And so I told my therapist, say, hey, Kat said this, and then all this stuff, and she's like, oh shit, yeah, I can't see her. I need to tell this other person to get she needs another therapist, or she'll continue with this guy, right? And so I was like, thank God, like, right? I called it on time, right? And so here's the shady part. Here's the toxic part, right? So she starts going to a therapist, right? And get this, I only saw her once. I like, right, like, let's say I was walking, right, and I check in, right. I say, hey, I checked in, right. I said, hey, appointment for Kat. My name's, and then write my information, paid my copay right here. And when I turned around, she was there. She had like her. This is when she was going to Ridge. Well, this was still in summer when she was still doing Ridge volleyball. So she had her Ridge stuff on. I guess she just got out of volleyball or something like that. Because volleyball has like the summer tournament, something like that, right? And I saw her, right? But I didn't know if she saw me. So I was like, this is awkward and I'm about to have an anxiety attack, right? Like, I almost literally did. I almost just walked out. I almost just walked out and just say, fuck it, I'm not going, right? That's how impactful this shit was. Just me seeing her got my heart racing, got my blood pressure rising up, got my temperature rising up, got everything rising up, right? I was shaking, but I was like, keep calm, Jacob. I won't see her. I'm just going to get coffee or water, right? And I should be good. When I did that, she left because her appointment was before. And also my therapist, Kat, told me, oh, we need to figure out a schedule. I'll let you know when she's supposed to come in. So she let me in. You know, she gave me those details, you know what I mean? Good ass therapist shit. I love her to death, right? And so I was like, alright, since I don't know when she came in, right? So let's say my ex went in at 2, saw the guy. It's about an hour. It's an hour session, right? So I'm going to come in at 3, right? No biggie, right? And so that's was going on, right? And only out of all the times I saw her once, only once, right? I think another time I saw her brother's truck driving off when I was entering in. So yeah, but I can't really confirm that because I just thought of it, right? And so later on, right, it's about under a week, right? So her therapist, I forgot his name, right? Keep in mind, he doesn't know me, right? I don't think he knew that she was my ex because, you know, we see each other and all that stuff, right? Of course, my therapist and him kind of talked about it. So I didn't know a lot about it. But he said some shit about me. Basically explaining, I was verbally abusing her. I was semi-abused, right? Something like that, right? Which now I kind of understand because that's her side of things. But this is my side of things. That's my other point. She was explaining, and oh yeah, also it's going to be a screenshot right here. Explaining all of it, right? And so she was like, oh, my therapist said you're doing this to me, you're trying to manipulate me, all this, which was not the case, right? which not the case. And yes, I kind of told y'all like another side of the story, right? Like that's what I said before. You have two sides of the story, right? But one is only the truth, right? You getting dry mouth. Talking a lot. I told you it's gonna be a long one. I told you. And so he said some stuff that I fucking disagree, right? Like, I think at this point, I think everyone's against me, right? Everyone's against me because I kind of lost kind of all my friends, right? And that's another point I'm going to get to very, very soon. Like, under a minute, right? And so he says some shit. I think you saw the Snapchat, I mean, not Snapchat, but the screenshot. You will know what I'm saying, right? So that's her side of things, of saying, oh, you did this to me and I'm happy of just being by myself and all that stuff. Which she literally she literally broke the rules of our agreement that she agreed to. And yes, opinions and thinking and all that stuff is variable. Emotions go left and right and all that stuff, and yeah, but we made a fucking agreement. You can't say, oh, you can't be like to a bank, right, and say, oh, let me borrow $1,000, right, and then the bank's like, all right, so it's gonna be a 5% interest back, so you'll pay $1,000 plus more, and then once the term is up, and then you'll be like, ah, nah, I'm not paying that, right? You can't do that. Just like you can't break a agreement we literally made, like you literally saw. So that's one thing I was like, what the fuck? Like, why would you do that? And so that's her side of things, right? And I'm trying to remember what she really said. She was saying like manipulation, my bad, I'm repeating myself, and saying, oh, I'm happy about myself, I like it this way and all this stuff, which broke the rules of her getting convinced by other people. Yes, it's really good to have other opinions, but take it as a grain of salt, right? At the end of the day, it's about you, right? It's about what you think, what you do, all this stuff, right? Literally, that's what the therapist and all my friends, not really friends, did. They convinced her and all that shit. And so fifth thing, and this is when shit got intense. She started hanging with my friends. Now, disclaimer, I will tell you all the truth, right? I don't give a fuck right now. If we're cool right now, I don't give a fuck, right? You did it wrong in the past, right? So there's consequences about it, right? Just like me, consequences of my actions, right? I told you shit of me getting kicked out of football, all this stuff. Well, that's a disclaimer, right? So there's gonna be name drops, right? Just a disclaimer, right? If you're cool right now, right? We're still cool, right? But I'm still gonna talk about the truth. I told you I'm 100% honest and all that shit, right? I don't cap about none, right? I'm no filter person, right? And this is gonna get me pissed off again. So she started hanging with my friends. Remember I told y'all the agreement was no more blocking, right? So I can see what she posts and all that stuff, right? So she started to hang out with my friends. Get this, without me, nigga, without me, right? My bad of using language again, my bad. But without me, she would have known no other person, right? And I'm going to give you the cap of what this one person said, right? And so, one of my really good friends, right? I have a small circle, right? At the time, I had Gabe, I had Gene, I had David, Darius, William, or Will. I think that's it. I only have 5 or 6. If I forgot someone, my bad. So the main ones is David and Gabe, right? Get this. She started to hang out with them, right? And so I started getting pissed off of my friends, right? Basically breaking the bro code, right? And I'll explain this way more. That's basically gonna be like the main point of next video, right? I'm gonna briefly touch about it because it's only, right now it's 30 minutes. And so she started hanging with my friends. And she's just being a manipulated bitch, right? Trying to have my friends turn on me and go against me, right? So literally, this is the screenshot I'm gonna show y'all of her trying to say, hey, Gabe is on my side. He doesn't give a fuck about you. He's not on your side. If so, you're funny, right? So here, I told Gabe, right? We had this conversation, right? He doesn't want to get involved, right? He doesn't want to do anything with her. If it comes to a point where she wants to talk about it, he won't talk about it, right? And so I told you she was a manipulative bitch, right? Of saying, hey, she told him, I knew this now because I'm cool with Gabe now. Saying, oh, I cheated on her and I did all this stuff. And I have more information next video, which is kind of going to be really crazy if you really know Kat. So yeah, she's trying to say, like, just being a bitch about it. Just saying of her bitch ass side, saying, oh, her side's the truth and all that stuff, right? At the time, right, Gabe told me, because I was going through all that shit, right? Depression, anxiety, I had my psychosis again, depersonalization, derealization, all that shit. I was going through all, right? I told you, very down, and I was started using drugs, right? He told me, hey, don't worry, you don't need us, you got this on your own, which I didn't. And I can tell you right now, he deeply regretted that shit, right? We talking all that shit. I told you, we cool now. So she tried all this shit, right? And I explained David later. He didn't really go against me. I mean, I'll explain very detailed in the next video, right? So she's trying to steal my friends, right? My friends, without me being with her, right? She wouldn't have known Gabe. She wouldn't have known David. She wouldn't have known of Darius. Or the people I met, that I introduced her to my friend group, right? Without me, she'll be no one. She'll be literally nobody to my friends, right? And I will tell you right now, here's a cap. I would briefly describe this, and I'll go into it later in the next video. Definitely. So Gabe was like, hey, I know her family, all that shit. I knew her before you. Bitch, no you didn't. You can lie to me all you want, but I know you're lying to me. You don't have to cap. We all know you're a capper. We get it. You're not a good capper. You're a bad capper. You know what I'm saying? I have good cap, right? No one knows when I'm lying or not. You know what I mean? I have good cap. But don't get it wrong, Gabe. I'll tell you right now. Don't get it wrong. We're cool, right? We're building all shit, right? Don't get offended, right? This is just the truth, right? You want me to explain the truth? Well, this is the truth, right? So she's trying to steal all my friends, right? And Gabe telling me, oh, I know her more than you. No, she didn't say that. He said, oh, I know her mom and her family, all that shit, which is bullshit. How they met was in Avid. When she was in 8th grade and he was in junior year, right? And you know how middle schoolers go to the high school and see high school, right? Because Avid and all that stuff. Well, I think they were partners, but it'll be fucking weird, right? Like, why would you ask for a Snapchat? Why would you do this, all that stuff? Now, Gabe, if you have proof and all that shit of her parents and all that stuff, I would disregard all that shit. Next video, I'll apologize, right? But for right now, you're capping, right? You don't know her family. You don't know all this shit, right? Stop capping, please. And so I'll show you the last screenshot of this video. It's gonna be right I can say is she just tried to, she really tried, but at the end she failed miserably. And I'll explain later. And so I'll leave it off here because I told you it's gonna be a long one. It's already like 35 minutes of unedited shit. So thank you guys for watching this. I thank you so much. If you watch all of this, you're a real OG. Comment your name below if you make it this far, and shit, I might buy your ice cream. You know what I mean? I might. You know what I mean? But anyway, like, comment, subscribe to this channel, and for more content to come. And I'll definitely gonna be, for part 13, it's gonna ramp up. You know what I mean? It's gonna get heated. It's gonna really heated and really toxic. I tell you right now, if you're cool right now, of course this is the past, right? This is the truth. I told you in the part 1, 100% transparent, all this shit, right? I'm not gonna bullshit about anything, right? I'm just not that person. I'll call out the things you did wrong, and at the end of the day, you learn from it. Literally, me and Gabe are cool. We're tight, right? We're still building all that shit, right? We're not as close as we used to be, but yeah, we're friends. We're not best friends, but we're friends. You know what I mean? We still have to, you know what I mean? But anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you missed any videos, it will be a link in the description below. Yeah. So please share this video. Please share this video. This is when it gets intense. You know what I mean? It goes by fast. There's a lot of content that's gonna be in other parts. You know what I mean? So anyway, this is going too long. Shit's gonna get crazy. You know what I mean? So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and much love to you if you make it this far. I'll see you guys in the next video, and much love, and I love you guys, and peace out.